Hello citizens, it's the time we've all been waiting for. It's Arena Commander. Now I've made sure everything works and I haven't hopped in yet. I mean, as in, check my settings and stuff, and I put my helmet on. Can I put it back? Yep, so I can put it back on. Now a couple of things, of course, just before you do go on, is that in the key bindings there's a lot here for the mouse and the keyboard type of play. And as you can't change keybinds, I'm going to have to bind stuff like, caps lock to decouple the flight control system or IFCS. So I could put that on my pinky switch on my joystick. And let's see, these are the different thruster directions, I think. Tracker doesn't seem to work. Well, at least it's not loading right now on the module. As expected, they did say that it probably wouldn't be out for the first release, and yeah, I don't think I get to play any of the other ships, unfortunately, which is my biggest disappointment. We'll find out. Alright, so that's online. Okay, drone sim, free flight, Vandal Swarm. Okay, I'm gonna start on Dying Star. So, for right now, we'll briefly go over the HUD and the controls and movement. So, let's just kick things off. Basically, we have the HUD, which we've gone through in my previous videos, and while this is the Aurora, things are similar. We have our overview of our systems here, so we've got our ship, our load factor, and our weapons. And we can change tabs to actual weapons, so we can change our loadouts, make it so that on, Group 1 fires at lasers, Group 2 cannons if you had them, Group 3 everything. And in 5 we have the chaff and flare together, which I can change modes, but it doesn't actually tell me anywhere. And then we have our power, which again I can't seem to be able to change, so it might be just temporary or placeholder. So I guess all these different directions would be like engines, shields and weapons. And lastly, the actual shields controls themselves. So I guess you could convert power from like the front to the rear if you're being chased, or vice versa. In the center we have our speed or velocity in meters a second with our thrust. So if I speed up, you can see we're up to 100%, and that's with afterburner. Below here we have our radar, which can be scaled, but it's hard to see unless we have actually targets there, so we'll go into that later. And over here we have our intelligent flight control system modes, which we'll get into next after we've completed this. Top right we have our target list. Again, this is free flights, no targets. And here we just have, again, throttle, percentage settings, and the amount of remaining boost, but that seems to be kind of bugged and you can do it infinitely. Now, moving on to actual flight. By default, for mouse and keyboard users, you can, we can set our thrust, or we have to come out of free flight, free look there. Yep, so we can set our thrust by pressing W and S to the amount required. So we'll fly at around 50%. Now, turning is based on how far away from the center you move your mouse. So there is a kind of dead zone inside this box here, slightly. So I want to pitch up, I just pull it up, and the further away, the harder the turn. That's pretty simple. Now, I don't like flying with a mouse because, I'm restricted with how many keys I can press at the same time. And luckily, if I nudge my mouse over here and then move my joystick, it centers. So we'll move over to our joystick. Standard fare again. Let's come up to 50% thrust or thereabouts. You can fly around like a traditional modern fighter or World War II fighter. The intelligent flight control system tries to keep you in the direction that you want to fly without stopping and spinning on the spot. Although, if I do this, I'm only moving it 10 meters a second while spinning. I'll bring up the power a bit and I'll afterburn. So yeah, there we go. I actually seem to be spinning on the spot with the IFCS. Almost. But, that's because I'm pulling on the stick too hard. Whoops. And I can pull about 3 Gs, 4 Gs, which is, pretty standard for you know, modern fighters, you know, average turn rates and stuff in combat. Now we've got 3 different modes down here: coupled, G-safe, and ComStab. Coupled mode is basically the better way to show and explain this is if I can find that station somewhere, which doesn't show up on the radar, unfortunately. There we go. So, if I wanted to stay heading in one direction but actually face a target, imagine this is a carrier or a station we're attacking. So let's move not too fast. There we go, 30 meters a second. And then if I turn towards it, I'm going to fly towards it, and then I'll have to brake away and fly away. But what you can do is you can turn on decoupled mode, which means you're flying in the velocity and the vector that you were previously when you hit it. But now I can face the target and still shoot it. So this is great for doing advanced maneuvers when you need to, like, turn it back on. Let's get some speed now. So if you want to quickly fly past something and shoot a specific part of the ship and then burn away.
Impact.
But, you know, I'm not used to the controls, so I'm making a few mistakes. So that's decoupled mode. Pretty simple. You can actually turn head to tail and then fly in the opposite direction and afterburn, and you pull like 7+ Gs. And it doesn't seem to have any adverse effects on the body, which I think they should maybe adjust. Stop people, you know, turning around 180 degrees and just burning in the opposite direction. Your eyeballs would be in the back of your skull by that time. G-safe is self-explanatory. If you turn it off, that means it will no longer prevent me from blacking out. There we go. And then let's just let me recover and see if they actually have a red out for negative Gs. Yep, they do. Okay, so that's G-safe. Next we have ComStab. So what ComStab is, with it on, it helps you fly in the direction that you want to whilst maintaining a forward velocity, sort of like, you know, a modern fighter or World War II fighter. But with it off, it doesn't really help that much. So if I'm flying past this landing pad here and I turn up too quickly, you see I'm still kind of going underneath it. If I turn around too quick, I'm actually flying backwards for a moment. Let's see, let's pick up some speed and then turn. There we go, you see, I actually come to a halt, turn around and move in a different direction. So with ComStab back on, I can fly past this and it actually turns me where I want to go. Obviously it has to reduce the speed and thrust in different directions to do so. Now with ComStab off, what that allows you to do is you kind of like drift. Now I don't know how this is going to work in combat. It's all trial and error, and I would need an actual partner to fight against to see if I'm harder to hit with ComStab on or off. And it's definitely something I would like to go into, provide, you know, helpful tips, tactics and guides for dogfighting. But that's pretty much it for maneuvering. So we're going to head into the Vandal Swarm mode and see what we have.
Welcome to Roberts Space Industries. Enjoy the ride. System check.
Oh, my Thank you, VO.
Radar contact.
Okay, so as I was saying, damn it, my wingmen have hornets. So we'll have to do this on the fly. I have to think of what to say and fight. So initially, there we go. I can see my targets pretty easily. I don't have to find them. I don't have to look at my radar. They're just there, and I always know. Now, selecting a target, my buttons are bugged for some reason. So if I press T and go for this guy. Now, let me show you something. I'm going to use the mouse here, so I can point at him, and I'll auto-aim. When that diamond goes green, or the... Whoops.
Impact.
Yeah, when that diamond goes green, it's doing its best to track. In fact, I think the diamond means it's going to hit, and the green circle means it's trying to. So with the mouse, it's really easy. You just need to kind of like point anywhere in this little frontal box here, this window panel here, and you're guaranteed to get a hit. But I don't like using a mouse, but when you use a joystick, you have to physically place the crosshair, center it inside. Let's match the target speed of the target, which you can press using one of the buttons. So it's a bit, the aircraft is a bit jittery when it's trying to like stabilize, but it is harder to aim with a joystick, and that's something I'm wary of. Of course, I can do more complex maneuvers using a HOTAS setup than with a mouse. For example, I can turn ChrisJSY on and just fly like this, and then shoot. But you have to be very careful. But oh, he's getting a bit far away. But I could shoot like that. He's coming closer. And I've run out of laser energy. If only I had miniguns. And this is where I can actually thrust left and right, up and down, but it's a bit finicky. But it stops me flying directly backwards. I'm flying directly backwards, but and up or down. So this, like, you know, makes me harder to hit. So turning ChrisJSY back on, we're probably gonna burn past him, turn it on, turn around, and then ChrisJSY back on. That gets us up behind him. So aiming is easy for the most part. And then for missiles, it's a two-set system, which I don't like. Firstly, so you lock on,
Target acquired.
and when it's acquired, you press it again to fire. That's pretty much.
Down.
Whoa, and it's
Standby.
a one-hit kill pretty much. What else have I got? I've got flares.
Chaff away.
Well, that was chaff, but like in my previous video, I'm glad that it actually mentions what you fired. So,
Chaff away.
oh, why is my keybind not working?
Flare.
There we go.
Away.
So I can change between flare or chaff.
Chaff away.
What else have we got? Radar modes. So I can change the scan radius, so I'd have it all the way in because it's much nicer. But those 3D models, I mean, they're almost undiscernible at a quick glance. I mean, I can see he's coming down above me, now he's turning around and he's behind me.
Impact.
I'd prefer it if it was just like an icon without a 3D model, something I hope we can customize. The blue dots, I think, are friendly aircraft flying around. Yep, so if I fly towards them, I can see that. So, how about we just go and kill these guys and see how long I can last. I am going to turn G-Safe off and use a lot of decoupling to get behind people.
Enemy down. Standby. Scanning. Impact.
Okay, they're not hard to hit, so I'm going to try something. De-target him and try to actually, well, how can I say this nicely? Not fight like I'm a noob? Okay, let's afterburn towards this guy. God damn it, how far away is he? Let's just find out. Oh wow, he's far away, and that's because I got decouple mode on, I'm not paying attention. Now, one thing I would like to know is what countermeasure mode I'm in. I need to know, because right now I think I'm on flare.
Chaff away.
No, I'm not, but now I am. So, de-target him, and let's fight him manually. Oh, where's he gone? Down here. See, I've already scored a few hits on him. I mean, if they stabilise the flight a bit, it'd be nicer. So, starting a new round here, we can see that I have locked up 3 of the Vandal fighters, and I'm using the target function to lock onto them and take them out. And as you can see, it's not really that hard. You just point vaguely inside that circle and you're going to hit. And it feels a little too arcade-like for my liking. I mean, even games like War Thunder and such, you need to lead the target properly. But unlike what they state so far, the combat doesn't feel World War II-like or modern combat-like. The movement of the ships is just too jerky to really lead much. Especially without targeting, which we'll get onto next. So after clearing up the rest of the Vandal fighters, I decided to take the last one on without targeting and seeing if I can track. But without any lead indicator, it's very hard to hit. And with the restricted view in the cockpit, you'll often at times find that the tracers or the lasers and the actual target ship are on places which you can't actually see when you're pulling hard turns. So it gets in the way, and in one of their jump point issues they actually did have a design for leading targets and where to shoot and such, but either that was scrapped or it's just not implemented yet, so we don't know. But it's very hard to shoot them. I mean, I managed to get a lot of hits on, but not enough in between him being able to recharge his shields, and it just keeps going on like that for minutes and minutes and minutes. I mean, I do get some good hits, but I just don't have the weapon power or the sustainability to keep fire down on him. Again, I've said this, if they can sort it out so it's more stable and it flies a lot more like you'd expect the flight sim to react like, then it might be easier to hit targets without needing to have some sort of auto aim. So I'm on the fence about that. I can understand right now it's too hard to do it without, but it's also too easy with it. So if they can find a middle ground, that'd be great. So right now obviously I don't know how their development works, but you know, they're obviously going to start polishing, fixing bugs, changing systems work, getting feedback from people on the forums or through videos like this, and yeah, I think the most important thing for me right now, the most jarring issue, is the jerkiness of controls when you're trying to like hold some vectors, for example, like in this clip. I'm holding a turn to the left, and it's jumping about, it's kind of like pulsating, and it makes it hard to keep on target. So hopefully that's something they can fix. I tried it with comms tab on and off, but it didn't seem to really do anything. I'll end things here before I ramble on too much, because this is a very quick and a very rough quick look at Arena Commander's first release. I'd like to play it more. I'd like to, well, I'm looking forward to the multiplayer aspect of it, being able to fly with my friends and against them, and you know, find out what different ships against each other are like. And well, I'll see how far I can get in the Vandal Swarm before I can't take it anymore. So I might make another video on that. If you have any opinions or questions or ideas, feel free to put them in the comments. But until next time, fly safe.